you really get to know the people you play with, I will say. But, like, most 9 times out of 10, the people we played with, we befriended and we were, like, best friends with by the end, and they didn't really care that we were bad because we were out there having a good time. We
Yeah.
weren't really giving them any competition, so they knew they were winning. So, it's easy to be friends.
All right. Hello, listener to the Whole Story Podcast. My name is Jonathan. To my this direction is Robby. And the two ladies you see on the screen, we cannot wait to tell you more about them here in just a second and share their best ball story. Uh, you may notice that Robby's looking a little dapper today in his new best ball hat with a rope across the top. We are going to have some new hats. Hit the website, bestball.com. So you should be able to go and check them out today, Thursday, whenever you're hearing this. As normal, we're going to do a quick recap of the weekend just to talk about what happened on the Pro Tour. The winner for the Memorial on the PGA was Victor. I was corrected, Hovland, not Hovland. You might have remembered the last week or the week before at the PGA Championship, he was wearing orange, and I had said Ricky Fowler was going to win, but I picked the wrong shirt. But he's having a heck of a season, doing fairly well. And then I don't even know what you say about this, but Rose Zhang, like what in the world? It's her debut event at the LPGA. She wins it. I did a quick Google search since it hasn't happened since 1951 that someone won their debut. Although it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise because she just seems to dominate every other place she goes. In the college scene, we
Yep.
have the
Hey,
NCAA Women's Championship.
one other thing, Jonathan, about that before we move on, and you were about to mention her again in the
Yeah,
college thing, but in her college career, she played 2 seasons, and she had a 60% winning percentage. So entered
60%.
20 tournaments, and she won 12 of them. And this year, I think it was like 8 of 10, maybe. So it just ridiculous. But yeah, go on. Talk about NCAA.
I'm probably not the first person to say it, but is she the next Tiger Woods for women's PGA?
Or
Right?
anybody, right?
Or yeah, really anybody. 60% winning percentage.
Well, she
I don't
beat
know of any.
Tiger's record at Stanford. Tiger won 11 times in a season, and she won 12. So,
I will
or
say
in a career, I'm sorry.
I got to watch her play at the Annual last year, 2022. So
Yep.
that's my claim to fame and only connection to Rose.
And she
Uh,
won it. She won it this year.
yeah, she did win it this year, but I didn't get to watch that one. I got to get it last year. So that's the only thing that I've actually seen her play in real life. That's the closest I'm getting to Golden. I was about ready to mention her again because, as it turns out, she won the women's championship in the NCAA. And then another guy down in Florida won the men's championship. Fred Biondi. Man, these names are getting more and more difficult. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. Which, oddly enough, earns him exemption into this year's U.S. Open and next year's Masters.
Yep.
Maybe you should call up who's that? Who's the amateur this year that played really well? I just forgot his name.
Oh, the guy from
The guy from Texas?
Sam. Sam?
Sam. We'll call it Sam. Everybody that's the listener
You
knows who
put
we're
us on
talking
the
about.
spot, Jonathan.
I did. Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett.
Bennett. There we go.
There we go. So maybe he'll fare as well as Sam Bennett did. So,
Yep.
but we are obviously not here to talk about what happened on the weekend. We're here to talk about what happened weekends ago. So I'm going to allow Robby to introduce our guest today.
Yeah. So on a couple Saturdays ago, I'd seen a headline. I didn't look at it yet. My wife comes out and says, and my wife, the first thing she normally doesn't say in the mornings is, "Hey, I read a golf story." But she said, "Hey, I read this golf story about these two ladies that did this thing. They joined the team at the last minute, played in these tournaments to allow their team to make it to the conference championship. And then what it also did, it allowed the conference to hold the championship and for them to have an automatic qualifier." And I was like, that's ridiculous. It was a story in Golf Digest by Shane Ryan. He did an excellent job on the story, talking with these two ladies. But it was just one of those things he pointed out, like the teamwork piece of that. So, I commented on his story. I said, this is awesome. Like, we would love to have them on the Whole Story podcast. And then look where we are now. So from Meredith College, we are welcoming Sarah and Maycee K to the Whole Story podcast. So We really appreciate you guys being here. How y'all doing today?
Yeah,
Um,
I'll let you go. You got it first.
oh, thank you. Sorry, we both talk a lot, so this is like having
This
to
is
learn how to
perfect.
pause for the other one's new. I'm really tired today. I started my first internship, but I'm pretty good. I'm excited to be up here, and thank you both for having us.
I'm well, and I'm pumped to be here. I'm excited. This is our first podcast, and we're kind of trying to navigate everything that's been going on recently. So this is cool. First podcast. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. So, before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to Lindsay Vickers, right, and Jenna Cirillo, I believe,
Mhm.
your teammates. A couple of the teammates that were still there playing
Yeah.
at the end, but we've got Sarah Marshall and Maycee Aycock. So, Sarah, we'll start with you. Just
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about where you're from, what year you are in school, and then we'll kind of get to the golf thing in a second, but just give us a quick little background on yourself.
All right. So I am Sarah. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I go to Meredith College, which is also in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I've kind of been here forever. I am a senior in college. I'm doing my 5th year next year, so I'll be on the golf team again. I'm pursuing business administration, and I kind of want to get into like event planning is my goal. So yeah, I've just kind of had a crazy college experience, and just it was almost over, so I was like, "Let's join the golf team," and look at us now.
That's great. Macy K, how about you? What's your background?
So I'm from Whitakers, North Carolina, which if you don't know where that is, it's right outside of Rocky Mount. Most people have seen that in a headline. They know where that is. Um, I grew up playing travel soccer, being very much like the little runner of my family. I'm an only child. I am a rising junior at Meredith College, where I'm majoring in public relations and double minoring in biology and political science, which is my new major. So I'm excited about that. I had never played golf. The only experience I would say I had with golf was I used to go to this lake house with one of my friends during the summer, and her brother played golf, and so did her dad. So they would like make us watch it. And I remember being like, I don't understand golf. This is so boring. Like, I'm over it. And I just think it's so crazy that this was my full circle moment. And like, I'm going to play golf twice this week. So
That's great. That's great. So, all right. So, February 3rd, I think I remember in Shane's article, something like that. An email goes out from the coach. There were 6 players originally on the team. One got hurt, one got sick, a couple left the team. So, they're down to 2, right? So, the email goes out to the entire student body. We need some golfers. And y'all 2 stepped up. What was y'all's thought when y'all first saw that email?
You want me to go first? I'll say, when I first saw the email, I was like, "No way this is happening right now. No way. This is free entry onto a collegiate team. And it's golf." I obviously had some false confidence because I didn't think I was that bad at golf. I had never played, so that's probably why I didn't think I was that bad. But I had kind of been around golf. I'd been on the golf course. I was like, "All right, it's kind of fun. I could do that." So I didn't know if I was gonna make the team because I thought more people would kind of see this as an opportunity and kind of think it was exciting like I did. So I was expecting maybe I didn't know if I would like make it onto the team, if there was gonna be a tryout, like how many people would show up. But I saw that email and I was like, I didn't even think that much into it. I was just like, all right, I'm going to the interest meeting.
That's
Mhm.
great. Macy K, how about you?
so
I mean, you
I
say
saw
you'd never played before. You didn't even like watching it. Why did you respond to an email?
I took the PE class at Meredith College and had the best time of my life. I learned so much from the instructor there. We actually went and played at Knights Play, and like I buried it. And I was like, "Oh, like maybe I've got this. Like this can't be but so bad. Like I used to be decent." Well, I hadn't picked up a club in like maybe 4 or 5 months because it's only a like 2 month class. So I see it and I'm like, okay, like I want to play soccer, but like because of my hip surgery, I don't really know if I can anymore. I had already reached out to the coach and like scheduled a tryout, but I was like, I'm just gonna go out for the golf team. I want to be more involved with my school. My suite mate at the time was like, like if you go out for the golf team and it works out, I'll go home and get my grandma's clubs and I'll join too. So we go to the golf interest meeting, respond to the email, end up there, and we're like basically like, this is perfect. He's like, I'll buy you ice cream after you play, even if it's bad. Like, I'll try and help you as much as I can. Practice is up to you. And I'm like, I work all the time, and I was a STEM major at the time. So I'm like, this is perfect for me. Like, this is great. This is gonna be fun. And then my first interaction with Sarah was actually walking out, and she was like, this is gonna be so fun. Like, we're both like, this is gonna be great. This is awesome. Like, this is gonna be fun. And then we didn't talk until we got put on the bus like the next week.
So did y'all know each other? Had y'all interacted at all prior to this?
No,
No.
we saw each other at that interest meeting, and like she was saying, her suite mate was there too, ended up not joining the team. And then the next time we saw each other, we were put on the back of the bus together, and we didn't even talk on the bus until because we were, I don't know, we were like nervous. I didn't know what was going on. Just woke up one morning and got on a bus with some strangers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. And then I think it really, we befriended each other on the golf course, and we were like, oh, like we don't know what's going on. Like I need some emotional support right now.
Yep. Jonathan, I told you ice cream will get you,
Listen.
it'll make all golf better, right? We were
It
just saying on the
does.
last week at the Memorial, the PGA Tour event, they are well known. I guess that club is well known for their milkshakes, right? And
Mm.
he was saying, why, ice cream or milkshakes? And we're just like, it makes everything better.
Makes
It
everything
does.
better.
It's like what you said, the candy or snow cone after the baseball game when
That's
you're
right.
a kid.
Yep.
Yep.
So after you go to the interest meeting and there's only 3 of you, was
Mm.
there a moment of pause? Or
Yeah.
did you just kind of figure, what the heck, let's give it a try. It can't be that bad.
Well, my initial thought was, I'm making the team. Like, all right, there's no tryout. Like, I'm on the team. Let's go. I was so excited that there were only 3 people there, because he was like, he was only going to take maybe 5 or something. Like, he had a max number he could take. There was like an interest meeting earlier that day, and I remember I asked Maycee after it. I was like, I wonder who went to that. Like, I wonder if anybody showed up, because I don't want to try out. Because if he sees this, he's not taking me. And then basically he sent out a text, and I was like, okay, I'm on the team. And I came back to my house, and I was like so pumped and so excited. I was like, I'm a collegiate athlete. Like, nobody can tell me anything now.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
So I was kind of like Sarah, like we went to the interest meeting and we were just like, oh, like we're on the team, like we've made it. Like I think I called my granddad and I was like, well, like you said you would buy me golf clubs and now you have to. Like I made the team, and he really thought I was joking. I think he was like, are you sure? Like, are you positive before you order these clubs? Like you're on the team? And I was like, yeah, like I am. But I don't know. I was just really taken back. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
What kind of clubs did you get?
So I'm very short. I'm barely 5'2". I'm 5'1.5" actually. So I was reading
It's a
online.
podcast. Nobody knows. You could have made that up.
The half counts though. The half counts.
The
Yeah.
half does count
Yeah.
for everything. So I was reading online because I'm such a little like nerd about stuff. I was reading online and I was like, what is the best petite club for women? And I'm like reading reviews from like multiple people like over and over again. And I kept seeing these Wilson clubs and I was like, okay, I play tennis. Like Wilson's a good brand. Like I'll join Wilson clubs when I get them. So they came and my coach looked at them, like I unboxed them on a TikTok, and then my coach looked at them at the tournament. He's like, these are actually pretty nice. Like you did a good job. And I was like, thank you. Like I was feeling really good about it.
All right, Wilson, you hear that? We need a sponsorship. Maycee K needs a
Right.
sponsorship.
Yep.
I
I
love it.
actually also had some Wilson clubs, but mine were like very old. And unlike Maycee K, I'm super tall. I'm like 6 foot, and I'm using women's clubs, so it's not really adding up here. So my clubs were like way too short, and they were also pink breast cancer edition. So I just looked so like, I can only imagine what people thought when they saw that. Probably I didn't know at the time, but that probably was really embarrassing.
I
Not
would
at
like
all.
to bring up that Sarah also used to carry around about 20 to 25 clubs in her bag because she would go and find random ones out of her like siblings or her parents' golf bags in the garage. She'd be like, I saw them hit this or I saw a TikTok, so I just took it. But she would never like clean out the clubs that she didn't want to use anymore.
It
So her
was
golf bag weighed like 90 pounds. Like it was so heavy.
yeah, and I don't know how I made it, but I think it did actually really make me stronger because me and my little sister were bench pressing the other day, and this whole time we thought she was stronger, but I was benching more than her yesterday. So I'm very happy that I did carry that golf bag.
That's basically like some sort of golf workout 101. Whenever you need to get stronger, just keep adding more and more
Or
clubs.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
was actually ridiculously heavy because I did clean it out and carried it the other day, and I was like, why did I not do this sooner? Because that was just tragic.
It works well until somebody tells you can only have 14 in your bag to play a tournament. So
Yeah, I don't know, like they never counted them.
We actually didn't know that was a rule until we went to the like Meredith College does like a golf fundraiser for the athletic banquet, and they were like announcing the rules, and one of them was like you can only have this number of clubs, and me and Sarah were like, wait.
Like what?
wasn't that like a week or two ago or back at the end of May?
Hmm.
I think it was back at the end of May.
Because Jonathan, I actually looked it up. I'm like, I wonder if they do any kind of fundraiser or anything like that. It'd be fun. So we just missed it. So maybe next year we'll have to come up
Next year.
Yes,
and join the Meredith College golf fundraiser.
we would love
Definitely
that.
will.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah,
We worked
Yeah.
at it. You'll have to come play the
Yeah.
putting game with us.
absolutely.
putting
We'll
competition.
do a recap of season 2.
Hmm.
Perfect.
Yep.
You had mentioned in the back of the bus. So you're in the back of the bus. It stops. You're in a parking lot. What's it like climbing out the very first time? I'm assuming there's a bunch of other golfers and that look like they know what they're doing in the parking lot too. What's that moment? Do you look at each other and say, what do we
I
do?
I would say the first thing that like took me back was there were men there, which we go to an all-girls school, which we're just not used to that. And then second, I thought this was like a women's tournament, and then like I just feel extra judged by men like on the golf course because I just feel like they may be a little bit more cocky and they don't understand it. So that was scary. And then yeah, everybody like looked legit with their like branded bands and like their matching uniforms. And I'm like, I literally bought this at Dick's last night and I don't look put together at all. So yeah, it was definitely I don't know, maybe I was feeling a little self-conscious. I was like, I look lost, I would say.
I was like the night before when I was like knowing I was gonna have to get off this van and be at a golf tournament, I was like overcompensating and I was like, what would a proper like Southern woman wear? And I was like, okay, if I can wear like 2 nice rings and like my Ada bead necklace that's like my family heirloom, no matter how bad I play, I will look put together because of those 2 things.
And you
But
did.
when I got off the van and they made me change out of my like high school soccer sweatpants because it was not proper etiquette to wear during a practice round and it was like 40 degrees. I really didn't care how I looked anymore. I was too cold to be there. Definitely intimidating.
That was very scary when we were on the back of the bus and then they were like, you need to wear this, this, and this. And I was like, I don't have that. Like I don't have these clothes here.
You-
I brought a golf skirt. I didn't bring pants because nobody told me about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had no clue. We're going to the beach. Like I didn't know it was gonna be cold. So that was definitely a little concerning.
That should have
I
been
also
included in the email, right?
Hmm?
It should have been included in the welcome email. Congratulations. We'll buy you ice cream. However,
Yeah.
here's some 3 things that you're gonna need.
I
Did
feel
you
like
have
we were very
did you have
underprepared. Like we didn't get enough information.
did you have golf shoes or were you just wearing regular tennis shoes?
I bought mine the night before
Okay.
at Dick's, yeah.
so I am like thinking this entire time that I've joined the golf team, I'm just gonna wear my tennis shoes out there. Like I'm just gonna be able to wear my tennis shoes. And Coach Hamilton was like, you have to get golf shoes. Like y'all have to make sure you have your glove and some golf shoes for this tournament. Like those are 2 things you have to have. But clothing wise, I got very fortunate because one of the players that was injured, her name's Kennedy, she actually lended me her clothes to wear because she couldn't be there. So I had like some of them and I had like wind pants and then I brought like a snow jacket. So I was like able to stay kind of warm, but it wasn't ideal.
I was
Well,
not that fortunate. I got when we got to the parking lot, I think 2 polos, and everything else was like bring your own.
Sarah, tell them about your favorite polo.
Oh, so actually, so he didn't have a polo in my size, I guess. So he went to the bookstore and bought me a men's size like medium polo that was too big for me, and it was so long, and I'm tall, but it like went all the way down like half of my thigh, and it fit like a man's polo. So, like everybody else is out here looking all cute and they're like little women's cut, like V-neck polos, and I'm here with a gray men's Meredith polo from the bookstore, which funny enough, I had bought my dad that same polo for like Father's Day a few years back. And I was like, oh, now we can twin.
That's funny. And y'all played, I think I read in the article, Lions Paw over in the Ocean Isle area. So I've played that course before. And Jonathan and I, you talking about it being 40 degrees. Jonathan and I used to go on this golf trip with like 40, 50 guys. And the coldest round of golf I think we both ever played was up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we played at River's Edge, and it was like sleeting, probably 30 degrees, but a bunch of guys on a golf trip, and yeah, we just had to make it work. So it used to that area in that kind of golf. So, well, how was it? I mean, you get off, and they say, hey, practice round here. Now it's time for round one. And if you didn't know what clothes to bring, I don't know how much they told you. Like, all right, we'll divide you up. You'll have to play with somebody from this school and this school. Like, what was that experience like?
It was very nerve-wracking because I feel like at the time I was so worried about school. I wasn't very much like a social butterfly. I feel like I've come out of my shell, I'd say, since meeting Sarah. Like I was very quiet to myself. I mean, my friends will totally disagree with that, but I felt like I was very to myself and kind of to my group. And since meeting Sarah, like I've come out of my box. But we are like panicking that we're going to have to play with these girls. We're going over like what we're going to say. Like, we're so sorry. This is our first time playing golf. Like, please correct us. Eventually, like we came up, we were like, somebody like needs to give the girls that we play with, like, we're going to have to start writing them like handwritten apology notes and giving them like a Starbucks gift card. Like, we're making their lives so bad. But we were asking our teammates, we were like, have you played with this girl? Like, is she nice? Like, what do you think? Like, do you know people from this school? And they were like doing their best to like calm our nerves and be like, you're going to be okay. Like, they're going to accept you. But I think nobody can truly understand. Like, imagine having no idea what you're doing and then you're being thrown in it. And then those scores are being recorded and you don't even know it. Like, we didn't even know our scores were public.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like extremely nerve-wracking. And I don't think many people understand that.
I think I don't know why, but I didn't think I would be playing with a random stranger. I just obviously didn't put too much thought into what was actually about to happen to me. So like when I found out that I wasn't going to be able to play with Maycee K, like after that practice round, I was I held it together very well, but I was, crippling. I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm so nervous." And then also the other scary part is on that first tee box, the amount of people that were watching me. I was like, this is uncomfy. I don't like this. I was like, I can't hit the ball, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. But you really get to know the people you play with, I will say. But like most 9 times out of 10, the people we played with, we befriended and we were like best friends with by the end, and they didn't really care that we were bad because we were out there having a good time. We
Yeah.
weren't really giving them any competition, so they knew they were winning. So, it's easy to be friends.
And now I guess in the article I read, they kind of got an understanding or knew that you guys were doing this, one, to help your team, but two, to help the conference, right? Like most of the folks kind of knew that.
At the conference tournament, I would say they did. And then I think our coach went around and did like some disclaimers for us, like before it started, which is very kind on his part. And then we also had our own personal disclaimers that we gave.
You
like
wore a sign that said, "I'm new at golf."
Like everybody knew. We had to make it
business
known.
cards.
Yeah, we were like, okay, just so you know, we're good now.
Well, just so you know, you're not in bad company when it comes to one, really being nervous playing with someone that you're not used to playing with. Every golfer everywhere, the worst thing is to go with a threesome and then get that one guy paired. Even if he's good, everyone's all nervous about what's going to happen. And you're right. The first tee where people are watching, and regular golf, you've got people stacked up in carts. Oh, that is the worst feeling in the world. You're just like, just don't chunk it. Just please don't make this the worst shot of the day.
Yeah, or having to play through somebody when they say, you know what, we're taking our time. Y'all are playing a little faster. Y'all go ahead and hit this shot, and you're like,
That's
oh
right.
gosh. So, yeah.
So obviously the scores, the numbers made the highlights, right? That's kind of
Mhm.
what took this whole entire thing. Um, what would my first thought was this. I'm not sure what I would shoot if I had to play against tournament rules. Like
Yeah.
normally I'm probably, and I've played golf for 10 years or so, but first of all, most people aren't very good at golf. No one wants to tell you that. Most people are terrible at golf.
Yeah.
I think if I might I'll shoot over 100. That's a common thing, probably 110 or whatever. But that includes, the mulligan here, or I'll take the drop, but I'll just kind of make up wherever I lost the ball. I mean, what would you guys recommend, or what would you say to someone who's just starting off and they're thinking, how bad can this get? What, you guys have gone through this now
Yeah.
and are on the other side of it, or moving towards the other side, since you're going to be playing next year too. What would you recommend or say to somebody in that moment?
I would say, well, if that person is playing just for fun, like with their friends, then you have nothing, don't have a care in the world. Like you're having fun. Like you can make your own rules at that point. You can do a little, we're not getting over an 8, we're going to keep pace, which is, I think, where my like kind of, at a tournament, you have to get the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
So there was no mercy out there. But I think if somebody is just starting, it's not as serious as you think. I think there's kind of like this like if you're not in the golf world, it just seems like a scary place. And like especially for a woman because there's not really many out there. So, but just don't care about anybody else around you. If somebody wants to play through you, let them play through. If you want to make your own rules up, make them up. But I will say if you do play in a tournament, maybe look at that rule book because I didn't and I was thrown for a loop. I had no clue. And that's where a lot of my points came from. If you ask me right now, I probably still couldn't tell you the difference between a red and yellow stake. So it's really confusing out there.
Probably 80-90% of golfers can't either. So,
No.
Yeah, I'm like,
nope.
I would say we're very fortunate with the red and yellow stake because our coach does follow me and Sarah around and he's like, no, this one means this one means that. So that's nice. I would say for anyone that's starting golf, just find someone you can play with that knows the game. I personally used to ask my guy friends in high school who were like on the golf team, like, can you please take me golfing? Like, I want to learn how to play golf. And none of them would take me. And now, that I'm somewhat recognized for playing golf, there are a couple guys who will actually go to the golf course with me. There's only one I'll actually go with, but he's very funny and he grew up in the country club playing golf, so he can watch my swing and correct me. We went to the range the other day and he was like, this is why your swing does that, this is why your swing does that. I had a glove tucked under my arm and a bucket against my leg so I wouldn't sway. I think if you just find someone who's more knowledgeable that can help you, it's really helpful. It makes it fun.
and
You'll
I think
have oh, go ahead, Sarah.
I was gonna say, I think we got really lucky with it that the way we got into golf, we learned so much just because we were going to those tournaments, and there were a lot of people that wanted to help us, and kind of they didn't. I don't think anybody out there wanted to see us fail harder than we were. So everybody was giving us pointers, even like the people we were playing with, and they were like trying to help us understand the game. And like that's really what kind of made me think I was like, the golf community is just so kind, in my opinion. I was like, there's not another sporting community like this that you're gonna go out there and even though you're competing with them, they're gonna help you every step of the way and kind of teach you how to play. And then also just the fact that we played we started playing golf with very, very talented golfers that kind of helped us. And I think that is kind of the reason why I got a lot better throughout the season was just being around that and kind of seeing what people were doing and having people willing to help me out and give me tips. So
Yeah. Y'all basically, you hear people say like the best way to learn a language is to go move to that place and kind of immerse yourself in it. Y'all basically said, I have no zero about Spanish, but I'm moving to Spain immediately.
yeah.
And nobody was there to, help you kind of translate it. So that's really cool. So besides your coach, have y'all started taking lessons? Have you, friends giving you pointers and stuff do y'all have, you're going to play again next year, right? So what's kind of the process been now as far as, hey, let's figure this out a little more and work to get better?
I would
So
say, oh, well, for me, I actually just ordered a little net off of Amazon, so I can just go into my backyard and swing away, no pressure of going to the range. And then our coach, because of NCAA rules, is not allowed to coach us over the summer. But I have my dad who played golf in college, who I don't think we're a good fit for him teaching me. I will say, I think he's a little like he's really serious about the game, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get good, but so I have him, and then my little sister helps me all the time, and I'll go with my brother to the range too. So I have them helping us, and I know somebody supposedly has reached out to our coach to give us the lessons this summer, which I don't know where we're at with that, but that would be lovely.
So, um, there is a girl who actually had to move back home to stay just because she had some health issues, and she used to play golf. Her name's Caitlin, and her last name starts with an R. I just started texting her today, but me and Sarah are trying to go and play with her on Sunday. And she has played golf, is like very knowledgeable about the sport and wants to play with me and Sarah and just help us get better. You know, it's kind of like she can't play anymore, but she still enjoys the game. So that's really nice. So hopefully, like, we'll get some pointers from her, get to come back, look better.
Yeah.
We're just trying to hit the hundreds, like the low hundreds.
Well, there you have it, listener. If you're paying attention to this and you want to give some free golf lessons away to Sarah and Maycee, we'll make sure to reach out to them, find them on social media. They'll gladly take some help, and they might even promote you, because if you take 50 strokes off someone's game, that must mean you're a pretty good coach, right?
Yeah. That's
Yep.
what I was
We
talking with some coworkers this weekend, and they were like, Sarah, you need to reach out to every golf company there is, because if they give you a set of clubs and it takes 200 strokes off your score, that's insane, and that's the best marketing anybody could ever give them. And I was like sitting there, I'm like typing up emails. I'm like, all right, let's do something.
Your
uh,
NIL deals, right?
I know.
Yep.
when
So we interviewed Donald Taylor, a friend of mine. I've known him since high school and everything. He really good golfer, and interviewed him on one of our podcasts. His sister Meredith does golf lessons. She played at South Carolina. And she's here in Lexington or Columbia, and I didn't know this, but she'll do virtual lessons too. So Meredith Taylor is a name to look up if you're looking for somebody that can say, hey, look at my swing and just give me a pointer or two. But anyway.
Sarah,
okay.
you mentioned your family.
Uh-huh.
So obviously you got friends and family that know that this is happening, watching it unfold in front of them. What's their response been like?
So my cousins have all been telling me that I'm famous and like, can I have an autograph? And I'm like, oh, what's up, guys? So that's been funny. And then my mom like texted today because I was like, oh my God, it's like kind of stressful just like figure out the logistics of going on all these podcasts and like trying to figure out what's going on. And she was like, I'm glad you still remember us that you're now that you're famous. So I think they're just kind of like, wow, nobody saw this one coming. I will say, so I have 4 siblings, and out of them, I'm definitely not the most athletic one. I was not the athlete of the family. So we all joke that, of course, Sarah would end up being the D3 athlete and making it this far, and I'm in Golf Digest. So I've definitely been joking around with them about that, but it's definitely been a very positive response, even from people that don't know me. Just like the general public and like people who are in the golf community and have seen the story have been like super nice, which is good because easily people could make fun of that 276 and drag my name and drag me. So it's been cool, and I've had support, so love it.
Macy K, what does your family say?
So my mom has always supported me with any athletic endeavor. She used to drive me from my house to travel ball almost 4 to 5 times a week, and we were driving like hour and a half to where I practiced. I would say my granddad has been like my biggest supporter because he did buy my clubs, and he's just kind of the person who can keep me like at bay. Like when I get really stressed out and be like, well, babe, like that didn't work out, but at least you did this. So he's been like very nice to just have around. Him and my grandma used to play together, but they got too competitive, so they had to give up golf.
Hmm.
I think my aunt is like really happy because she plays golf. So she was like ecstatic that all this was happening. And I've been like giving away my family's peanuts as like to gifts to everyone we've like come across in the golf community. That's how me and Coach Hamilton like bonded. So I think like my aunt and my uncle are like very happy all of this is happening.
That's great. That's great. Well, we try to help tell golf stories, and one of the things we ask people is, what is what is your most memorable shot or your best shot that you've hit? So, Maycee, I'll start with you this time. Do you have like one highlight shot or like a shot that you've hit so far? It could be in a tournament, it could be just in a practice round or something that stuck out to where you're like, this was my best shot.
So it was the first day of the conference tournament. I had a putt that was probably like 5 feet, I'd say. Like it was like I was on the outside of the green and I just happened to knock it in and get lucky. And I remember the girls I was playing with were both like, that was so good. Like, how did you do that? That was so good. So that one's always just gonna stick out to me just because they were so supportive over the shot. And I was just like, whoa, like I can do that. Like,
How about you, Sarah?
I remember one shot I had, it was kind of a chip shot from far away. We were at the Greenbrier, and this was, we mentioned the player and the assistant coach that we played with at the Greenbrier. They were there, and I hit a chip shot from far away, and I had kind of perfected the chip shot because I was like, this is what I'll do. This is, my shot. And I had a really good one, and they were like, there you go, Sarah, like da da da. And everybody was hyping me up, and I was like, okay, all right, I needed that. I needed that shot right there. I needed this little boost, get me through the rest of this game. And then I will also say it was the 18th hole, and we were on the Greenbrier course like an hour later than everybody else. And that last hole, even though I got a 10 on it, I was killing it, and they were hyping. I was probably not doing that good, but they were sitting there hyping me up the whole time. They were like, "Come on, Sarah, let's go." And I was like, that was really fun.
can I
Yes,
set the scene for that one?
yes, please.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're an hour behind, like Sarah's saying.
Mhm.
We weren't an hour behind because the group in front of us was still on 18 when we got to the tee box. So we weren't an hour behind.
I just remember we got back to the van, and our two other teammates, Jenna and Lindsay, were asleep. And
Oh,
maybe
that
we
was
had
like the other
started.
day.
Yeah.
That was okay. I was talking about the very last day. Me and Sarah like came in and they were already doing awards and we're like cracking jokes. We're like, we're
Oh, that
so
was so,
bad. It
yeah.
started without us. And we're like, I'm full on laying on the green at this golf course, like cackling. Like I just have this laugh that comes out. I've been trying not to let it happen up here, but it's like just a straight cackle. And one of the guys like stops giving out awards and he's like, I'm so glad you're having fun. And I'm like having to lay down. I'm like coughing so hard that me and Sarah are so bad at golf.
Yeah, and they put us together, and they the award ceremony and everything without us because clearly we weren't gonna win. But they were all there to watch us finish our 18th hole. And they were like,
They were
they
like
were they were eating it
clapping.
up. They were like, "Go girls!"
That's great.
That's fantastic. Well, obviously this isn't the end, right? So you'd hinted earlier that you two are going to be putting together a podcast. So why don't you go ahead and take a second, tell the listener what that's going to look like.
You want me to do it,
Yeah,
Sarah?
Maycee K's got us on the podcast.
Okay, so this comes out on Thursday. This upcoming Wednesday, Sarah and I are launching our podcast. It's called Too Many Strokes. It's spelled out the number 2 because there are 2 of us, and well, obviously we took too many strokes that got us to this point. It should be available almost everywhere. I'm still having some problems with Google, but if you want to watch me and Sarah as we talk together through these podcasts, the videos are uploaded on YouTube. I will send y'all our link tree for that if that's okay.
Absolutely. We'll put that in the show notes.
Okay. Our first episode is just like me and Sarah kind of throwing around stuff that's happened to us, and we didn't really contextualize, but the second episode I'm interviewing Sarah, and then the following episode that's coming out after that is going to be Sarah interviewing me.
Very
Can't
nice.
wait.
Yeah. You got to get your coach on there
Yeah.
and your teammates and stuff. That's going to be great. So too many strokes. All right. Yeah. We'll put the link tree link in there for the, for that. And yeah, so if you're listening to this on Thursday, the day before, you could have already started listening to Too Many Strokes. So please be sure to check that out. So, all right. So we do a quick 9, right? We'll transition to this kind of a rapid fire. You can give a 1-word answer. You can expound on it a little bit, but we'll kind of go back and forth. Sarah, we'll just say we'll start with you on the first one, and then kind of go back and forth on who answers first. But we want to hear both of you. So, favorite golf course that you have played?
The Greenbrier. I think it's just because it was so well kept and it was a lot easier than the courses we had played previously.
Okay. Maycee?
The Greenbrier as well. I loved the connections we made with the staff, and I felt like that course was well kept and easier to play on than other courses we had previously been to.
Yeah, I was jealous when I read and saw that y'all play there because I think they do a pro tour event and stuff there. So that's really cool.
All right. What is your go-to snack in your bag? Because you're out there for a while, so you got to keep up the nutrients.
Yeah. Oh, I would say maybe Welch's fruit snacks. They always hit on the golf course.
Good choice.
I'm a Welch's fruit snacks person too. I always have like a couple in my bag, but I really like when we get like cookies in our lunch boxes, like from the tournament. Those are so yummy.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So what's your favorite part about, maybe it is the snacks? Jonathan's is the taco stand. What's your favorite part about being on a golf course? He played at a course that had taco stands just out in the middle in between holes and stuff. So
Oh, I would
he
love
won't
that.
stop talking
It was
about it. But
amazing. It was amazing.
what's your favorite part about being on a golf course?
I would say the social aspect. I think in other sports, like I played basketball, and that was kind of like, it's not a social aspect. You're really competing there. And even though, it's a team sport, but you're not with your team, you get to socialize and talk. You're out there for what, like 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 if you're like me. And you really just get to know the person you're playing with, and then you have a friend for life.
I would have to agree with that. I think not only are you making the connection with the person you're playing with, but you're connecting with everyone who's around you. The guys that are taking you from hole to hole, to like the girl you played with at the last tournament. Like if she sees you, I mean, she's gonna stop and be like, "Hey, like, are you doing better today? Like, how's it going today?" So I think everyone's just very open and social on the golf course, and everyone's kind of relaxed, I would say too. So that makes the connection more genuine.
Jonathan and I talk about it all the time, and that's, we're in the business of telling golf stories and hearing people tell it. And the common theme, it might be a great shot, but it's who you're with, right? Like who you're with, who you get to experience golf with. And I mean, you can shoot whatever. If you're with great people, then it doesn't matter because you're having fun doing it. So that's great.
All right. Besides the men's medium polo from the bookstore, what was the best swag you got for being on the golf team?
Ooh, I would say I got a raincoat that's branded. It says Meredith Golf. It's Under Armour. So I was like, all right, let's go. I still wear it.
Yeah.
I would say it was our Orca water bottles we got. All the other sports teams at Meredith had them, and me and Sarah, like the first, like we pull up, we shouldn't even be collegiate athletes. We like pull up, and he's like handing us these nice water bottles, and we're both like,
Ah, that's nice.
You put them in camera around campus so that everyone knows that you're an athlete.
For sure.
Yeah.
yeah. I switch it out with my Stanley Cup every now and then.
All right. So if you can perfect something, and Sarah, I think we already heard the chipping, but would you rather have the perfect drive, the perfect iron, or maybe the perfect putt? What would be like, where would you want to say this is what I got? And Sarah, maybe it's the perfect wedge shot. Who knows?
Yeah, I would say what I think putting for me, especially right now in my game, because I can, my drive isn't that good, but my irons, I can hit those like pretty far at this point. I would say where they go is, a little questionable, but I do have that power behind them sometimes. But the putting really comes in. I can't get that line. I can never read the line. I don't know where it's gonna go. So I would love to perfect my putting.
Okay.
I would say I want to perfect my drive just so I don't feel like I need to throw up at that first tee box with everyone around me anymore and feel like, oh, this is solid. I'm good. Y'all watch out. Like,
Yeah, that's a good one too. So out of your 20 clubs, Sarah, have you
Hmm.
ever thrown a golf club?
I have come very close. We were playing in the pouring rain. I didn't have a cover over my bag or like the umbrella yet. So I had actually had 2 towels, but they were both sopping wet and my glove was wet and everything on me was wet. I couldn't, dry off my glove or my grip on my clubs. I remember I hit one time and I had it in one hand and it's like behind me and I'm like, "Oh my God, that would have been terrible." But not I came close.
I have not thrown a golf club. I would say it almost slipped out that day too. It was kind of scary on the specific hole that I'm imagining is the one where there were like 8 geese. That's where like that was the last hole we had to play, but it was just like a family of geese and babies. And I was like, either my club or my ball is gonna end up near them, and I'm just gonna have to leave it here. Like I can't go get that. So
They get very possessive of those golf clubs when they come near them. So, do you guys have a favorite golfer?
Mine is Tiger Woods. I just feel like,
Never heard of him. Who's him?
yeah, he's the man, and he's, I don't know, just I feel like everybody knows Tiger Woods, and I grew up watching him. And then I would also say a close second would be Phil Mickelson, just because I just remember watching the Masters and like golf tours with my dad, and watching him and being like, oh, he's cool, he's winning, he's good.
Yeah. Yep.
so I can't think of her name, but I can tell you exactly what happened during the Masters this year. This lady's husband was playing in the Masters and she was his caddy. And I think it was like the first day actually. And she's won like 5 titles or something, and he's only won 1. And he like goes up, like hits the ball, and it's like not that good. And then she goes and it's like the perfect shot. And everyone's like, well, how does it feel? And he's like, well, this is why she's won 5 and I haven't. Like, but for some reason, I can't think of her name, but she's always just in the back of my head. And then there's another guy. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names unless I like meet you and have a conversation. But I want to say his name is Joel, maybe, and he like took his shirt off.
Oh yeah, Joel Damon.
Yes. When I saw that, I like developed the biggest crush on him. I was like, he's so funny. I want to meet him. And then I was like, oh, he's married. Never mind. But I thought he was so funny.
Yep, he did that, Jonathan. That was last year at the Waste Management.
Yeah.
Jonathan and I went out for that tournament this year, kind of promote best ball a little bit. And yeah, he and his caddy. I don't know if y'all watched the Full Swing documentary, but they did a piece on him and his caddy, or one of the episodes. And like it seemed like such a relatable guy, and would do something like that, like take your shirt off at a golf tournament and wave it around, like, just something that anybody would, normal person would do when they hit a good shot. So
Well,
that's
his
great.
new campaign is like, I'm not going to take my shirt off, but I'm going to take my pants off now, or
I saw
something.
that. I saw that. Yeah, he does a ton of stuff to for like cancer prevention and research, stuff like that too. So anyway.
So is there someone that if you could just wave that magic wand, that you want to play golf with?
Ooh. John Daly.
John Daly.
Nice.
Wait, I don't honestly, I said that and now I'm like, who is that?
He's the
the
grip
guy.
and rip it guy.
Yeah, he wears
Yeah,
the
I'm like-
crazy. He wears the crazy pants.
Yeah, and he drinks like Diet Coke and like smokes
That's exactly
cigarettes.
right.
Okay,
Yep.
when you guys gave me that reaction, I was like, what did I just say? But yeah, no, for sure, him. I'm like, I think I'm gonna meet him at this point.
You could probably find some of his pants at Ross.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, we could dress just like him.
So this is going to sound like kind of dumb, but when Shane asked our coach about writing the article about me and Sarah, I had this idea. I was like, I want to trap him in having to play 18 holes of golf with us. Like, I want that to make the interview set up. So I would love to have to play golf with Shane and Sarah and like finally make my wish come true of that.
All
You
right.
just
So
wanna dress-
Shane Ryan, John Daly, and Sarah and Maycee K. That sounds like a great force.
That's
And
a great
Jonathan and
foursome
I'll
right there.
Jonathan
yeah.
and I'll be there to document everything, get some interviews
right.
on the course.
Perfect.
It'll be a lot of fun.
You just let us know when that gets set up. We're on the way.
All
You're
right.
gonna bring the tacos?
Hey, I'll bring the tacos. Yeah, we'll bring tacos. You have no idea how much better tacos are. How better it makes golf.
I can only imagine.
All right. So final question. What are you guys most excited about next season? I mean, y'all are experienced pros at this point. Like, what are y'all most excited about for next year?
I would say the improvement. I did say in Golf Digest that I was gonna have a revenge tour, which now I feel like I have the weight of America on my shoulders. I'm like, okay, well, now I have to get better. I would say just like being able to somewhat compete and like kind of, even if it's like last and second to last place, just having somewhat of a competition factor to it is gonna be fun. And then just being able to be more competitive and like having a grasp and understanding of golf is gonna be cool, because we definitely didn't get that this season.
I think it's going to be cool that we get to play both semesters, like both seasons. I'm excited for the new people that are joining our team. He actually sent out an email today because we do a big little program at Meredith of like the girls that were looking for a big that we could like reach out to. So I texted him and I'm excited for them. I really wish in my perfect world, like next year, I get to like announce something for golf. Like I just want to announce something. I used to do commentary when I would get bored during practice rounds. So if I could like commentary on, I don't know, like a 4-year-old playing golf or anyone who wants to let me comment on their golf, that would be my dream for my next year.
That's funny. That we could probably figure out something to make that happen. So have you ever seen Jonathan said this to me one time? He's like, what if PGA announcers like commented on average golfers or something like
Average
that?
golfers.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
would
funny.
love
You
to
need to
hear
look that up.
something.
We'll do that, Maycee. We're playing golf next weekend together. We'll make sure to send you a video clip and
Okay.
let you do the full commentary on one of our holes.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Well, it's probably not going to be difficult, but we'll try to find one that we make some decent and bad shots.
Yeah.
Well, I like almost make myself like it's like a basketball game. Like I changed my entire voice. I think it's because I cheered growing up. And I'm like, coming up to the tee box now is Sarah Marshall. Let's see the swing she's got on her today. But I do that throughout the entire hole. And I think my coach honestly used to just like be like, please stop doing that. Like, please be quiet.
So you've done, we're kind of done with the quick time, but you've done the Golf Channel. You say you've done NBC. I mean, now obviously the highlight is the Whole Story podcast, but what's next? Like what's next as far as like the publicity tour? I mean, you've got a podcast coming out. What's next for you guys as far as kind of keeping the momentum of y'all's story going?
I know it's kind of scary because this is definitely new territory for me. I'm like, I can't even keep up with my own social media. And now we're trying to like run social media accounts for our podcast and we're trying to capitalize on this moment and like promote ourselves. But I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm 22 years old. I've never done anything. So I think the podcast and then just saying yes to anybody who reaches out and then reaching out to other people to kind of capitalize on whatever this is insanely lucky that we've had these opportunities and done what we've been able to do. So just see how far we can push it and take it and see what comes of it. It's going to be exciting, but it's definitely a little unknown territory. So we're kind of trying to work through it.
Yeah.
Macy K
Definitely.
she's definitely got a better understanding, it seems like, of definitely the social media side. She figured out how to make a podcast, which I'm still in awe of.
I did have help with the podcast. My roommate's boyfriend like set up our domain actually and like was like, this is how you record, this is how you stop. I've been very fortunate. I have a like vlog on YouTube, my own personal one. So I've gotten behind like the editing with like just the different pro technologies you can put on a Mac. So that's been very helpful. And I have some digital designing background. So like those two aspects have definitely been helpful. But I like social media, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
Well, Sarah Marshall and Maycee K. Aycock, we really appreciate you guys doing this. We first saw the story from Shane Ryan. Like in my mind, it was like, this is cool what these ladies have done for their team, for their school, for the other girls and teams in the conference. And so it was really cool that we get an opportunity to have you guys on the podcast to tell some golf stories because that's what we're all about. So we wish you the best. We will obviously be following your career and watching you guys play some college golf. And yeah, just we'll check out the podcast, please. Too Many Strokes, is that right?
yep, too many strokes.
Too Many Strokes. So y'all check it out, find that podcast. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys being here. Next week, Jonathan is going to be jealous. I will be on site for our first on-site podcast recording. Jonathan will be probably sitting where he is now, but I will be at Pinehurst after playing a little bit of golf there as well with my son. But we'll be recording from there, doing some shots from there. But yeah, that's next week. So looking forward to that. Jonathan, any final thoughts?
No, you guys are great. Wish you, like Robby said, we wish you the best of luck. And I played basically like D3 baseball.
Sweet.
You're living the dream. Like you get to be on a college sport, which 99% of people would do if they had the chance. The only difference is that you guys took that leap of faith, that big step, and took it. Incredible, and can't wait to hear the podcast. Can't wait to see what happens next year on the team. And make sure you invite us whenever you become super famous. Remember, we were your first podcast.
You're our number one.
That's right. That's exactly right. So whenever you send a text message someday, you'll be like, "Oh, thanks for remembering us little kids."
Yeah.
So.
Who? Yep. Well,
I'm going to
Sarah,
order one of those hats, so I'll remember you.
absolutely. Bestball.com. It'll be up in a few days for you guys, but it'll be up by Thursday for sure. So, but Sarah, Maycee K, we really appreciate it. We will end our podcast now, Jonathan. For Jonathan, I'm Robby. Appreciate you guys listening to the Whole Story Podcast.